Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Jason Mackey's First 10, a short version podcast talking all things Pittsburgh sports. Today is Friday, December 27th. We're a couple days removed from a Steelers loss to the Chiefs. You know about that by now, 29-10 at Acrisure Stadium. Thanks for your patience this week. Took a couple days off around the Christmas holiday, but wanted to come back for one final episode this week, a Friday episode. Going to break it down into 10 thoughts, 10 different things that I think about the Steelers coming off of that loss and really bigger picture, bigger than 1 week and some trends developing. Before we get into that, though, I want to remind you that this show is brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates. If you're injured in an accident, you're probably wondering what's next. For over 40 years, Edgar Snyder and Associates has helped injury victims answer that question, whether it's gathering evidence, collecting medical records, or dealing with insurance companies. Edgar Snyder and Associates has helped over 75,000 people handle what's next. Call 1-800-94-EDGAR or visit edgarsnyder.com for a free consultation. And remember, there's never a fee unless they get money for you. So my lead topic in our 10 thoughts this week today is about the defense. I wrote about this in a column for Post-Gazette. You can check out that at post-gazette.com. But anyway, how big are the problems for the defense? Is this a couple of games? Is this something they can, brush aside and get back to it against Cincinnati in the playoffs? I worry it could be bigger. And I look at the Steelers defense, what they're spending on that group, the highest paid unit in the NFL. You know that. They're just not getting commensurate production out of that group. Their sack total is, again, on pace to be the lowest since 2016. Against the Ravens, they weren't able to stop the run. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes certainly had their way with them. So did Joe Burrow. Are they going to be able to stop Joe Burrow this week? I don't know. What's going on with Minkah Fitzpatrick? Is he worth the salary? I got into that, as well as the edge rushing position opposite TJ Watt. The Patrick Queen signing has drawn some criticism, certainly, and it's just not been good. It's not been good enough. I use the analogy of a five-star restaurant. If you're going there, you want the food to taste good, right? Well, the food with this unit hasn't tasted good enough. Over the first 8 games, the Steelers allowed 14.9 points per game. Over their last 8, they've allowed 26.1. Needs to tighten up in a hurry. This group needs to be a discernible strength and not a weakness. Takeaway number 2, you can forget about the division. Sure, there's a weird path where they can still get there. They need the Ravens to lose at home to the Browns. I'm not really counting on that happening. I think the Steelers have officially frittered that away. They're going to have to go on the road in the playoffs. Now, they can win in Houston. I do believe that. But, yeah, I don't see the division happening. The Ravens are clicking on all cylinders right now. They smashed the Texans on Christmas Day, and honestly, they look like a very difficult out right now. They've won 4 of 5, I believe, since their loss at Acrisure Stadium. They've scored 30 points in all of the games that they've won. Turnovers for the Steelers have become a problem. That's takeaway number 3. They have just 3 takeaways, the Steelers do, in the past 3 games after they had 3 each in the 4 games preceding it. For a turnover culture, for how much we have heard about their ability to take away the football, they haven't done it. And I worry about that stuff a little bit, and I did at the time, thinking there's a little bit of element of randomness here. And I understand you try to punch it out, you want to jump routes, you want to play aggressive in a way, but they just haven't been doing that, whether it's because of injury or whatever. Other teams are protecting against it. I don't know, but that has not been a club in their bag recently. Meanwhile, the Steelers are turning it over far too much. There was much made about Russell Wilson's interception to Pat Freiermuth. I understand George Pickens and the route. He ran the wrong route. Nate Burleson said that. Terrell Owens even called out George Pickens on Twitter. I get it. Even if Pickens ran the wrong route, even if this was 100%, well, it's not completely 100% on George Pickens, Russell Wilson still threw the ball. He fumbled early in the game. That was almost disastrous. He was lucky to get it back. We've seen some other Russell Wilson turnovers. The Najee Harris fumble a couple weeks ago was a big thing. They're not protecting the football in a way that you would like to see them do. Number 4, miscommunication on the defensive side. That reared its ugly head again. Xavier Worthy lined up in the backfield. The Steelers failed to adequately cover him. Travis Kelce on his touchdown, he was wide open. Justin Watson just plain beat. I believe that was James Pierre on the long pass play, but just too many blown coverages. They're not tight enough in a lot of areas, stuff that cannot happen. And frankly, you can't ignore some of these miscommunications. DeShon Elliott talked about it after the game and said these are week 1 or week 2 problems. They're not week 17 or week 18 problems. And he's exactly right. For a veteran group, for a highly compensated group, again, harping on the defense, But this is not working out. This is not acceptable, and the Steelers need to find a solution fast. All right, have some more to get to on the other side of our break, as well as, part of this is some quotes that came out of the locker room the other day on Christmas Day. Guys are getting frustrated. I'll talk about a little bit of that. But first, the message from the Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Embrace the laid-back charm of island life while sinking your toes in the sand and discovering real, authentic Florida in the Bradenton area. Unspoiled beauty and pristine beaches, a vibrant waterfront downtown energized by local arts and culture, fresh Floridian cuisine with a flourish of rich history, and friendly locals ready to welcome you to this preserved paradise on Florida's Gulf Coast. Plan your visit today at BradentonGulfIslands.com.
Welcome back to First 10. I'm your host, Jason Mackey. We're here Monday through Friday, middle of the morning, talking about 10 minutes about all things Pittsburgh sports. This is an all Steelers edition, sort of wrapping up Steelers Chiefs and looking ahead to next week and beyond. A lot of topics to discuss with the football team. And here with number 6, guys are getting upset. There's frustration showing. DeShon Elliott, and I quote, "First off, guys can't be bleeping wide open. That's the first thing. Just do your job. I feel like we communicated, but guys weren't doing their freaking job. It's week 18. We shouldn't be having these problems in week 18. Alex Highsmith continues. There's got to be a want to. There's not enough of that right now. It's that time of year where we have 2 guaranteed games left. We're going to find out who wants it. You know what I mean? Everyone in this room has to want it." Interesting. Seems like he's implying there that some of the guys in that room don't want it. I would say total application here is that there are guys not doing their jobs, maybe worried about me, playing hero ball is a term often thrown around, but just guys not doing their jobs, not doing their assignments, and it is causing problems. Number 7, the game plan is not good. I would like to see this change. And I don't mean this specific play, but it's sort of, all coalesced in one bad run to Cordarrelle Patterson. Late in the second quarter, 3rd and 3, they go to Patterson. That's the best play call in that situation. Give me a break. I don't understand the excessive use of Cordarrelle Patterson. 2 kick returns for 41 yards. Teams are just kicking to him because they know he's not going to do much with it. The offense, as a result of the play calling, as a result of the execution, has just 4 touchdowns in the past 3 games. Not very good. In 8 games against teams in playoff position this season, the Steelers are averaging just 17.1 points per game. Looks like they're able to beat up on the lesser teams against good teams. They're not able to move the ball. They're not able to get it in the end zone. We talked a lot about red zone offense at various times. That remains an issue. Yeah, they got George Pickens back, but I wouldn't say that too much changed there. All right, number 8, the running back situation is awfully curious right now. Jaylen Warren looked a heck of a lot better than Najee Harris. Now, Najee did have a decent amount of yards together. The Steelers actually ran the ball fairly well, but I was a little surprised they didn't keep feeding Jaylen Warren. I would like to see them do that against the Bengals and moving forward. He's clearly the back with more juice, a better fit in this offense. Had 109 yards from scrimmage, average 7.2 yards per touch. I think it's probably time you just turn the page. You know, Najee Harris, wish him well in the offseason. I'm sure he's going to go play somewhere else, but Jaylen Warren is a better fit for this offense. Number 9, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, or they have become the Chiefs. I didn't understand some of the disrespect directed toward them. They were 14-1 coming into this thing, and it seems like, people looking at this game thought they were a pushover or not, an elite team, not a team playing for the number 1 overall seed in the AFC, which they obviously were. Patrick Mahomes against the Steelers. Man, we talked a lot about how bad Lamar Jackson has been against the Steelers. He obviously improved in that last meeting, but he has been so good, including playoffs. Mahomes has completed 78% of his passes against Pittsburgh, averages 327 yards per game, 17 touchdowns, 1 pick, and an average victory of 37-19. Absolutely crazy. Hollywood Brown has meant a lot of big things for the Chiefs, and honestly, if they're able to keep this going, he's only played the past 2 games, but if this is what the Chiefs passing game looks like with Hollywood Brown, man, you could be seeing a 3-peat. I'm not sure, but the Chiefs are absolutely a threat atop the AFC. I don't want to hear anything other than that. All right, last one is a big one, and it's sort of summing all of this up into one awkward conversation. But how do you not talk about a coaching change, a coordinator change, what it means for the quarterback, all this stuff, heavy questions that are going to have to be considered this offseason. Now, the season is not done. We can, put an asterisk on it and say, if this continues, even if they lose to the Bengals, if they would win a first-round playoff game, I wouldn't expect the Steelers to react to much in terms of how things are staffed or who's running the defense or Mike Tomlin's future or whatever. And if they win, a couple of games, obviously that conversation is done, right? But what if they don't win again? What if the Steelers finish 0-5 and this, collapse just becomes that much worse and they embarrass themselves in another playoff loss? I think that's equally as possible. The Texans aren't playing very good football right now, so maybe they go on the road to Houston and they win a game. But my point is that if this continues, I feel like the conversation is only going to intensify. And it's already pretty intense right now, talking about the validity of Mike Tomlin keeping his job, Arthur Smith. Is there enough improvement on the offense? Do you want to keep Russell Wilson around next year? A lot of heavy, big picture questions to consider that, again, aren't going to go away. All right, hope you all have a wonderful weekend. You can go do something special over the holidays. We'll be back on Monday morning, same time, same place. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can get all of this content and so much more from our Post-Gazette, North Shore Drive, YouTube, and podcast networks. You've been watching First 10, everybody. Thanks so much.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.